So many different cobbler recipes to choose from. I'm Tess and welcome to my kitchen. These are 3 of my popular cobbler recipes on my channel, and they are all unique and different in their ingredients and cooking methods. Enjoy! If you go to any large grocery store, including Walmart, you'll be able to find delicious peaches this time of year. And if you're real fortunate, you'll be able to get some great bargains at farmers markets and local produce stands. There are so many easy and delicious recipes that you can make with peaches, and I plan to share a few of those with you in the next coming weeks. I thought I would start by showing you how I make an authentic, homemade southern peach cobbler. I purchased about 10 pounds of peaches, and I'm giving them a bath. I'm filling my sink with cold water until the peaches are covered and floating, and then I'm adding in a 1/4 cup of hydrogen peroxide. The solution is 1 tablespoon of hydrogen peroxide per 1 gallon of cold water, so I use about 1/4 cup of hydrogen peroxide for 1/4 to 1/2 a sink full of cold water. The peroxide helps clean and kills any microbes on the peaches. I'm just lightly swishing the peaches around to remove any debris and soaking for about 10 minutes. Then I'm going to rinse the peaches under cold water and dry on a towel. For this southern peach cobbler recipe, I need about 5 to 6 cups of fresh sliced peaches. So for this amount, I'm going to need about 10 to 12 peaches, depending on their size. The recipe calls for 4 cups, but I usually have my Pyrex cup mounded full of peaches. They will cook down some, so we are good. I just get an assembly line going where I remove all the pits, then peel, and then cut into similar sized pieces. You want the peach slices about 1/4 to 1/2 an inch wide so they cook evenly and don't fall apart. In my large saucepan I have the peaches, and I'm adding in 1 cup of sugar. This amount does not make the peaches real sweet, but it really enhances the peach flavor. I'm adding in just a pinch of salt and 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and this is going to help produce a nice thick peach sauce. Finally, the only liquid I'm adding is a little orange juice. I'm turning my heat to a medium, and that is around a 6 on my electric stove. I'm giving everything a good but gentle toss as you don't want to break up your peaches. I'm bringing the peaches up to a simmer on medium heat. As the peaches cook, they will soften and release their juices to produce this delicious peachy glaze. This is going to take about 10 minutes. Once the peaches are tender and the peach sauce is thickened, I'm removing the peaches from the heat and adding in a couple spices. Here I'm adding in 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I'm using Saigon cinnamon. And also about 5 to 6 grates of fresh nutmeg. Not much. And that's it. Giving everything a good gentle toss to combine and letting that slightly cool. You might be tempted to add more cinnamon, but trust me, less is more in this recipe. You just want a hint or a background of cinnamon. You don't want to overwhelm that wonderful peach flavor. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I have 1 stick of butter that I'm going to melt in a 9 by 13 baking dish. Next, I'm going to make the batter. For this southern peach cobbler recipe, you want to use self-rising flour like this one. You don't want to use all-purpose flour for this recipe. In my bowl, I have 1 1/2 cups of self-rising flour, and I'm adding in 1 cup of sugar. Giving that a good toss to combine, and then adding in 1 1/2 cups of whole milk. Giving that a good stir, and the batter will be thin like a pancake batter. Now that my butter is melted, I'm pouring my batter right over the melted butter. Do not attempt to stir, just pour it in as evenly as you can and don't worry about it. Now here is where it gets exciting. I'm taking my peach mixture and spooning over the batter. Just spoon it on as evenly as you can and make sure you get the sides and corners. You want that wonderful peachy taste in every spoonful. If you have more than 4 cups of the peach mixture, you can save it for serving over the top. This southern peach cobbler is going into a 350 degree Fahrenheit oven for 50 minutes or until golden brown and bubbly on top. About 10 minutes before the peach cobbler is done, I add a sprinkle of cinnamon and coarse raw sugar on the top to give it more flavor and texture. After the final 10 minutes of baking, I'm removing and letting the peach cobbler cool for at least 30 minutes before serving. It is piping hot. You can see the batter bubbled up and form this beautiful cobbler cake, and the peaches and all the peachy glaze is baked throughout. Oh my goodness, if you could all smell this. This has to be a smell from heaven. I think the peach cobbler is the best warm right out of the oven and served with a scoop of ice cream or whipped cream. Our family also likes the cobbler warm with cold milk poured over the top. However you like to eat your peach cobbler, this is a delicious and rather easy authentic Southern peach cobbler recipe. There is nothing like cooking with fresh peaches. They have such a bright summer sweet taste. Canned peaches are okay, but if you have the availability of fresh peaches, this Southern peach cobbler recipe is the one to make. It is so good and your family will love you. That is what food is all about, bringing people together. I hope you give this homemade Southern peach cobbler a try and enjoy. I just love blackberries. We have some blackberry bushes, and this is the season for harvesting. They are just loaded with fruit, so stay tuned for more blackberry recipes. This blackberry cobbler recipe is an old-time childhood favorite. And by the way, you'll be able to find this recipe, the list of ingredients, and much more in the Show More section below. If you have a chance, please check it out. I harvested the blackberries this morning, rinsed them well, and drained. For the batter, I'm creaming the butter and sugar together. I have some flour and I'm adding in a couple teaspoons of baking powder and mixing well. Next, I'm adding a little of the flour mixture to the creamed butter and sugar, alternating with the milk. Stirring in between and just mixing until combined. Remember not to overmix. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. I'm adding the mixture into a well-buttered casserole or baking dish and just spreading and leveling out. Sprinkling those beautiful blackberries on top. The recipe calls for 2 cups of berries, and I always make sure I get the full 2 cups in there. Now for a unique addition. I'm pouring some apple juice over the top. You can use berry juice, but I usually use apple juice. That's it. Don't stir. Bake at 350 degrees for 45 to 50 minutes or until firm and golden brown on top. 10 minutes before the cobbler is done, you could sprinkle the top with some sugar for some extra sweetness. This Amish blackberry cobbler smells so good. Letting it rest for at least 30 minutes before serving. You can eat this warm or cold. It's yummy either way. You can use any berries for this cobbler. It is an easy recipe and everyone will love it. The cobbler has a nice crust on top and the bottom is filled with the creamy sweet blackberries. You can pour some milk over the blackberry cobbler, serve with some cottage cheese, or the typical scoop of vanilla ice cream. It's all good. I hope you give this Amish blackberry cobbler recipe a try and enjoy. I've showed you how to make many different fruit cobblers over the years, and this lemon lava cobbler is a great addition. A bright and refreshing dessert that is oozing with lemon flavor. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm melting a stick of butter in my 9x13 baking dish. In the meantime, I'm going to make my cobbler batter. Just as in some of my other cobbler recipes, I'm using self-rising flour, which includes the salt and baking powder. If you don't have self-rising flour, you can easily make your own. In my large bowl, I have 1½ cups of self-rising flour, and I'm adding in 1 cup of sugar and giving that a stir. Adding in 1½ cups of milk and a teaspoon each of pure vanilla and lemon extract. Giving that a stir just to combine. The butter is melted and I'm pouring my batter right over the butter. You may be tempted to stir, but don't stir. I have one 21-ounce can of lemon pie filling and I'm spooning in spots over the batter. Again, don't stir. As the cobbler bakes, the lemon filling will sink into the cobbler and make pockets of delicious lemon bites. The cobbler is going into a 350-degree oven for 40 to 50 minutes or until the top is golden brown and firm. The lemon cobbler is done and my kitchen smells like lemon heaven. To add to the lemon heaven, I'm making a sugary lemon topping. This is a couple tablespoons of raw sugar, and I'm adding in the zest of 1 lemon and giving it a stir. While the cobbler is still warm, lightly sprinkle over the top. This gives the cobbler a nice textured sweet lemon topping. You can serve the lemon cobbler warm or cold. Top with more lemon filling, whipped topping, or even some vanilla ice cream. A nice sweet lemon fresh dessert. I hope you give this homemade lemon cobbler recipe a try and enjoy. If you like this video recipe, please hit the like and subscribe button. Remember to hit the bell next to the subscribe to make sure that you get my future video recipes. You can also find me on Facebook and at my website. Feel free to share this recipe and my channel with your friends and family. And until next time, much love!